Introduction to some data analysis tools in Excel. We'll look at random number generators, generating some histogram plots, and then some sort, filter, and Vlookup functions. We've already seen how we can use a random number generator that's built in. Rand goes between between 0 and 1, and then if we want to change the range, we can do that by multiplying by 10. That'll go between 1 and 10. Or 0 and 10, and then if we subtract 5, it'll shift the distribution to go between -5 and 5. The issue with that is that it's only a uniform distribution. So suppose we want to shape a distribution in a set of random numbers that has a different shape to it. We can do that with some data analysis tools. We need to add those to Excel. Go to File, Options, Add-ins, Go. Click on the Analysis Tool Pack. OK. Suppose we want to have a distribution of numbers that are normally distributed. So we get a Gaussian distribution that looks like so. And that could represent a number of things, such as maybe we're measuring the heights of different people in the class, and we want to know how many people have a height between one value and another. What we need to know is the heights of all the different students in the class, and then we need to know how many bins we want to put them in, so what our bin spacing is. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to specify some random data that's normally distributed, find some bin values, and then count how many people are in each bin. So let's put in some normally distributed data. So if we go up to Data, Data Analysis, and click on, there's a whole bunch of different functions that you can use. Random number generation. Then we get to specify how many random numbers we want, how many columns basically, usually one. How many random numbers, here we'll do 10,000. And then we'll do a what kind of distribution we want. And we have several options that we can choose from, a Poisson distribution, uniform, or normal. Here we'll choose normal. We specify the mean and the standard deviation, so where's the center of the distribution and how wide is it, and then where we want to put it. There's a couple options there. So output range, here we want to put it in cell B11, right up here. Hit OK, and it'll fill in 10,000 random numbers. Now we need to specify the bin ranges. It's best to specify those, well there's lots of options, but a good option is to specify it between the minimum value in the data and the maximum value of the data, and then decide how many bins you want. So here's the data. Let's just specify the min, the max. So the min will be equals min of, let's see, B11 to B10010. That's where the data is. The max, B11, B10010. So these are the min and max values from the data. Let's say we want 20 bins. 20. And then the spacing between bins, dx bin, that will be equal to the data range, max minus min, quantity divided by n bins minus 1. So that's the spacing between the bins. And then now our bin values will start with the minimum, and then all other bins will be equal to what came before plus the dx value, and we can $sign that. And then when we fill it down, we want to fill it down until we hit the max, 3.74. A few more. There it is, right there, 3.74. So now we have our bins that go between the min and the max. They're uniformly distributed bins. Now we want to know how many values of our data fit in each bin. So we go equals, so this is a range, another range function. So we highlight the data that we want, hit equals, frequency, parenthesis, then our original data that go to B10010, and then the bin values, comma, bin values, end parenthesis, Control Shift Enter. And that gives us our histogram data. Now we can plot that data using a column plot. So if we highlight the frequency data, and go insert, chart. We'll do a column chart here. And it shows us the frequency of the data that we get. Now the x-axis right now are just the index, cell 1, cell 2, cell 3. If we want them to correspond to the bin values, then we can click on the chart, right click on it, right click the chart, select data, and go to our horizontal axis labels. So click edit, and then highlight the bin values. Okay, and that's what we get on the chart. And then we can format those data labels like we've seen before. If we go to number, maybe click number and the number of decimal places 2. Okay, so that we can format that as we want. So that's an example of using the histogram option that gives you a lot of flexibility. The second data tool that we want to look at is sort. Suppose we have a number of students with scores in a class and we want to sort the data. We can always sort one column if we just highlight the data and then go up to data sort, and it gives us an option. Data sort, we can sort ascending, we can sort descending, sort descending. But suppose we want to sort so that we keep both the student, we want them in alphabetical order, but we want the students and their scores to be the same. Or we want to sort by the score so that the students and their scores stay connected, but we go from high score to low or low score to high. We highlight both sets of data right there, and then we can go to sort and choose which column we want to sort by. So here we'll sort by score, which is in column C, sort by values, and maybe go from largest to smallest. Okay, and that'll let us sort so that the people stay with their scores, and we go from high to low. Suppose we just have a bunch of data that we don't really want to sort, we just want to flip it. Maybe flip it vertically so that the cells at the bottom are at the top and the cells at the bottom at the top become the bottom. One way to do that in Excel is to just specify a set of data next to yours, 9 and 10, highlight, and then sort based on column F going from largest to smallest. And that'll flip all the data, and then you can get rid of your original column. So you can sort either a single column or you can sort multiple columns at once based on sorting one of the columns of data, keeping them together. The next function we want to look at is a filter function. Here's a list of chemical data, and we can do various things to this data. We can sort it like we've done before. A filter is a convenient way. Here we have about there's 909 columns in this, or rows in this data. Lots of data. Suppose we only want to look at some of the data. We don't want to look at all of it. We can apply a filter to the data. Suppose I want to look at locations, only locations that are R1 location. The way that we would do that is just click on the column and hit the filter button. Then there's a little box here, a drop down. So if we click on the drop down, we can deselect all values in the columns, go find R1, okay, and now it only shows us data. All the data is still there, but it's only displaying the data that happen to have location R1. So that's an easy way to look at subsets of the data. To remove the filter, just click on the column, undo the filter. And we can filter more than one column at once, and it'll combine all the filters at the same time to reduce the data. Another common option would be, suppose we want to know where a specific value is. Suppose we have a chemical like 1-decanol, and we want to know its location. Well, here it's easy because we see 1-decanol, and we can see, oh, there's its location. But what if it's somewhere else, and we have 10,000 data points, and we don't want to simply search through? We can always find it, but an easy a nice function is called the Vlookup. So we can use Vlookup as follows: equals in a cell Vlookup parenthesis. Now we need to specify the lookup value. So here we want to find 1 decanol, quote 1 dash decanol, and we need to give it a table of data. And the table needs to start with the value that we are searching. So in this case, the B column. And we can specify the whole list if we want. So B1 to I909. And then it wants to know which column we want to select from. So here we want the location, and it's based on the table. So this would be column 1, this is column 2, this is column 3. So if I put column 2, then it says, oh, the location of 1 decanol is 287 flam. That is location for 1 decanol, 287 flam. So that's really useful. Suppose we have another one, like we can look up ubiquitin. Let's try that one. Equals Vlookup ubiquitin, and the array B1 to I909, and we want column index 2. And there we say, oh, its location is R1. That is, the value in the location column for that chemical is R1, if we went and found it. So that's another convenient function that we can use. Filter, sort, and Vlookup.